So I just have this plan if we use more of a state platform for ecoleaf and ecoherb and Google Infomark and catfish industries. That's pretty much what we want to be able to use at the end of the day, since the the individuals, the personal individuals have its own personated state of labor requirements labeled for itself, and it can't go no more than that. And it's pretty much where we want to be able to sustain character, and give more tone to weight in that area, as as the as the individual have more weight to carry at the time. So you want to put those weights in the same place as the intuitive acknowledgments, and be able to know more about the position that each individual holds, as holding their W-4 in their payroll and their invoice, as far as knowing, how much they can feed their co-producers. So it's pretty much where you're using that whole detail, and figuring out the whole um, W-4 assignments that go on with the restaurant, instead of the business conformance. And that's pretty much what you're working with at the end of the day, of 2038 to 2044, as we're making more history towards having more towards Texas Revolution, United States Revolution, more towards Alicia Keys and NFL, and having more towards the teams that we like. And that's pretty much where you're just looking for a better objective to have characteristics within. Understand more about being 9 from 3 years old, and being able to demographic the whole reunion of those type of details, put them into a common compound set. And being able to do that is pretty much what you're looking for with a $98,000 comparison. That's pretty much a $98,000 deal. So it's pretty much taking 949 980s out of 98,000 to have Subway, Pizza Hut, Wendy's, Whataburger. You have that type of stuff. And that's pretty much where you're using that yellow, green, and red when you leave your financial center. And that's pretty much where you're using more towards your current of orange, blue, and green effects of how to certify accommodated services, and being able to know more about your transacts of how to spend money for your 2:37 p.m. O'clock at the time. So that's pretty much what we're working with to promote more of that detail in 2022 to 2036, as we promote more urbanization and more revolution and more renaissance, as you create 9608 tax bonuses of that, and that expands out into $97.17 77 times. And it's pretty much as you using more of combined like terms, and being able to use more for having a company towards a reference at the time, other than it being a bill note at the time. A bill note is just a plural singular paycheck, versus having multiple companies pay for a check. It's the difference between free enterprise and free trade at the time. So it's pretty much where you're using the whole bill is being paid for by 1 to 4 people, or or it goes from the bill being paid by 487 people, and being able to know more about a tax reference from a bill note then is pretty much what we're looking at the time. So that's pretty much where you get more with that detail. Other than that, you are talking about collecting documents. So that's pretty much where you're working with 971 different documents, whether it's lat or you're working on tools, or you have food supplies. Added up, 98,889 is the trans tax behind it. So that's pretty much as we use more of 30% of intuitive acknowledgments for the Frank Erwin Center entertainment attributes. So just being able to know more about the previews of Frank Erwin Center, and knowing about what all goes down at Frank Erwin Center, to be exact, and how to remain proper and professional as well. So it's pretty much using different details as far as registration and the starter performances of the companies and their different depositions of Articles of Confederation, Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights. And that's just one. What happens when you do 3324? What happens when you do 3324? That's just a random digit, but still, that's just a code that you use after you use the least common factors of a sort, and then use a greater common factor. And that's pretty much where you're getting that whole detail coming from. So it's pretty much a proof of ownership, as far as that being owned since 2006. So it's pretty much after before the flight, and after after the deal is done. So 3.1 is a whole process actually, where you're making more towards where you're making more towards a certification for yourself. So it's pretty much just working with 30 meals versus 2 meals, and being able to promote more for 9863 more people is pretty much what you want to do, to promote more for Google Infomark and False Interscopes and TCS, Swag, Avid, Max Preps, Austin Statesman. You're using more majority of that, and that's pretty much a whole lot of 98,000 right there. So that's pretty much where you're making 984 different 9800s, which is at least 949 different 980s 20 times. So eventually you just made your first $20 from 2006 to 2014 by 2022. So that's pretty much where you're making at least 1860 of them, and it's being able to come in that ratio, just like that came in that ratio. So that's using 8666 as well in 2022 to 2034. And so that's pretty much as you're using more towards that $984,9800 payment, and that's pretty much as you're using the primary service unit of that area, and being able to use more of that unit's deposit and composites to make more towards a network of composites, and that's pretty much what Eco Herb does. That's what PMC2 Square does, and that's what and that's what ecoleaf does. So that's pretty much, as we use those companies to promote more for those abilities. That's pretty much giving these companies more authorization to have more declaration between their leisure and liabilities between their affiliates and their associates and their advisors at the time. So it's pretty much where you looking at a normal financial center, and it just changes between a financial center, a financial center, more of an energy center as well. It's more of an energy center, and it has more of an energy center in those types of details. Whether it's TV or you creating energy for your consumption rates. You're making sure you're getting 27 catfish down, and that's pretty much where you're getting that bigger detail of ratio coming from, rather than it being the 3.1 ratio. It's 33-24. So that's pretty much why we don't use, why wouldn't you use 76-66 or 26-66? 26-66, yes, why not? That's how you can do your 3.1 from there, and that's pretty much how you eating again. So it's just many different depositions of that 1.364 dime. So that's pretty much coming out of that 624 $20 bill that you paid. That's pretty much where you get more of that $20 bill you made here, and it's pretty much as you make that from 2006 to 2014 and 2022, you spend whatever you want. That's $316,000 on whatever you want. So that's pretty much prescribed to Outlook, Adobe, PlayStation. It rolls all through that as you pay for different subscriptions on Hulu, Spotify Premium. You pay for that on yellow, red, and green. So you're paying for what you want majority of the time when you're using those types of details. So that's pretty much using your $98,000 cancellation fee as you use PlayStation Network for its payments. So that's pretty much as I use more for my lifespan and my lifestyle of 2009 to 2026, and understanding more about its present life. It's pretty much celebrating 4th of July, President's Day, Memorial Day, Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas. We're celebrating those details. So it's pretty much using 983 different compounds to ingest 983 people a week, and it's pretty much as you figuring out a reason to consolve rights to your personal information, as far as you showing up at work and showing more literal work that you needed to comply with. So it's pretty much being able to sustain with the essence of the day and understanding more of the evaluation that goes with knowing 9,800 catfish being deposited at the time. So just being able to eat more of $984 of deposits, even if it was just $9,800 being transitioned at the time. At least everybody got to eat of their favorite catfish of their favorite quantity, and that usually runs up to about 6 catfish, a serving. So it's pretty much what these primary propositions will vote for at the time. We vote for 6 catfish, and that's all my position requires. Six Catfish meal, and that's pretty much where you get more of Mr. Catfish Industries, and its premium propositions of its categories of products and combos. So that's just looking at 36,766% of crops at the time, and understanding the build up between a local bar and a local restaurant, and understanding more about the difference between local state and national state, which have the interstates on it, and stuff like that. So you're looking at the old state, 1861 from 2015, and understanding more about the newer ratio of beginner of life that happened after $9,665 of profit after 6 months. So it's pretty much using more towards FAFSA and more towards those common denominators toward having an easier education for yourself. So it's pretty much as you urbanizing and understanding more about the contents that give you more graduation towards your current career is pretty much where you're leading to after that. After you make more of 984 9800s and they turn into 949 980s, which means you broke it down by 520 50s. So instead of it being 984 9800s, that's where you're getting a big block at right there. That's the $1,000 payment, but you can't carry that in pocket. So why would you have it? And it's pretty much where you're looking at a population of 384 people. Things could worry you at the time. So that's pretty much where you wouldn't carry that in 1984 to 2036. So that's pretty much where you use that as your bill node, and being able to know a defined payment at the time. So that goes for the professional bills that you have, and that's pretty much where you're using that as a bill node instead of a reference node.
1.5 times playback speed.
So instead of it being 1,000, you turn into a $100 block. You turn into a moderate block. This is a moderate block, which is 100, and it's pretty much where you're using 980s over and over again, over 233 times, and it's pretty much where you're making more towards having $55 and $24 exchange. So it's looking at greater common factors, and looking at more of and looking at Bill of Rights, and you see different greater common factors of these types. So it's pretty much as you're using that moderate block, and you're getting more of that 233 different 980s, and you break it down into 5500s and 2400s, and that's what you're getting as a tax bonus or as a reference note from the dealer or from the tax county. So it's pretty much as you're working on those details in 2006 of 2024, and it being started in 1984 instead of 1884, is pretty much where you're getting a bigger standard of its own proposition of 1984 and 2012. So it's pretty much as you looking at more of an urban day in NASA and NAFTA and NAFTA, NASA, and USDA, and it's pretty much as you using more representation for how you make your money, and being able to know more about the primary use of the money, which goes towards farming, chemical sciences like fuel and soda. So it's just going towards the basic primary decencies of how to make a professional how to make a professional film for yourself. So just using more pressure for the tire for the tire PSI, and being able to use that is how you gain money as well. So that's a prominent fact of how this could be made, since that's how you make $374, and you get more towards trans-tax in that area with 374 waters and $374 extra on the same $3,000 production at the time. So that's pretty much what we're using. So that was the big ideal of EcoHerb, PMC2 squared, and Catfish Industries, of its own profile and of W4s and 80 and invoice W4s invoice and W4's invoice and
lucky has nothing to do with it. It's a matter of recombinant ribonucleic acids unzipped by radioactive quinine peptide.
And what does that mean?
I don't know, I'm just trying to sound extra intelligent. Gotcha! You gonna eat that?
Right, guess who's back in the house? From Def Comedy Jam!